Since you clicked on this video, I understand that you want to see a ranking of all the mythical Pokemon in Pokemon up to Gen 9. So with that said, I'm the right person to do it, and let's go for it. So, to be clear, I'm going to probably be going off of mainly what I like in their design. If the Pokemon does call for some metrics on ranking, like as far as competitive goes, I'll go ahead and talk about that. If I don't know about the ranking as competitive and competitive usage, I won't really talk about it, as some of these are just not really using competitive. And if they are, uses in lower tiers and kind of niche. But yeah, let's just get into it. So we got Mew. Mew's the OG mythical Pokemon. For a long time there, we didn't even know it existed. Or maybe the people back then didn't know it existed. It's kind of just there. It didn't really, there's no, in Gen 1 it wasn't super obtainable. And later gens is obviously a real Pokemon, and we know about it now to be confirmed, but the first movie obviously showed it off. I think Mew's design, I think honestly it should go to S tier. Just because of the fact you can know every move. It can be transitioned from either a attack or special attack. It can be modified stat-wise to be pretty much whatever you want it to be. So that makes this Pokemon in particular very cool, being Mew. I like his design as well. His design's simple, but it's not over the top. I just think it's kind of cool. I like his background being that he's like kind of the DNA of all the Pokemon, which is pretty neat. So yeah, Mew. I think he's an S tier, just starting that off. Celebi has also a really cool design. I just like how Celebi looks. I like how it has like a time travel Pokemon behind it. It's used in Showdown, Pokemon Showdown, on like random battles, but I don't know how good he is in actual competitive Pokemon. I like his design a lot. I honestly would probably put him in S tier as well. I like the time travel aspect. I think it's really neat, and I like the design of the Pokemon. And it's also used some. It's not horrible and competitive. It can hit pretty hard, and Showdowns, randoms. So yeah, I like it. It's a cool Pokemon. Jirachi has Serene Grace, which is a really nice ability. If I'm not mistaken, that's what it is. And that allows moves like Steel Wing or something along those lines. If they have a flinch chance, or Iron Head, I think is what you use with Jirachi, I'm pretty sure. And Serene Grace doubles that chance. So instead of a 30%, you have a 60% chance to stun, which is a very high chance in comparison to anything else. And if I'm not mistaken, King's Rock does affect this as well. And it could go really, really high as far as like chances of stunning. Outside of that though, I don't really like his design as much. I like the fact that it has like 3 wishes for its like the, I guess, the banners on his head. I was going to say talons, but I guess it's more like flags / banners on his head. They're pretty cool. I don't really... Yeah, I have to get Jirachi probably like a B tier. I think there's just much cooler Pokemon than that. A lot of the mythics look really neat, so I wouldn't expect that many to be in C or D. Now we got Deoxys forms. Now, they separated all these, which is pretty cool. This is Deoxys normal form. And I think Deoxys normal form is versatile, but since he has the other forms, and this is speed form, this totally my bad. This is speed form. That's normal form. So speed form has one of the highest speed stats in the game. There's only a few Pokemon that outspeed it. It's like pretty much just Regieleki. That might be it. There might be one more Pokemon, but really it's probably just level Regieleki because this Pokemon is extremely fast. It has in competitive, all these forms are useful. But speed and attack are probably going to be your most used. Because speed can put down a bunch of rocks. Can put down a bunch of just different, setting moves. Like rocks. It can put down some damage as well. It's very nice. Its overall design, I think, is cool. Put it in A tier. I don't like Deoxys' defense form as much as far as design goes. He's more of a stally Pokemon, it's trying to stall out some people. It's just kind of I'm going to go more off his design on this one. I don't really like his design. I know it's more of a bulky design, so it actually executes on it pretty well. I just don't like how it looks. I'm not really a fan of all the bulky... I just don't really like Pokemon that look like that, to be honest. Okay, I might have been completely wrong. This is attack form. This is speed form. Speed form honestly looks a lot cooler. Put speed form in A. Attack form is pretty much could do the same thing as speed form can. It's like attack just does an absolute ton of attack. It has like Psycho Boost, which isn't like the greatest of moves. But Psycho Boost, even boosted, is basically like a nuclear bomb against like certain Pokemon, which just makes them very, very deadly. Speed form, this is speed form, and yeah, this Pokemon is extremely fast. Like I said, only Regieleki outspeeds it. And basically, these two Pokemon serve nearly the same purpose, except Deoxys attack can be more offensive based than speed form. And sometimes I heard that you could actually run a Scarf just to make sure that it outspeeds like everything in the game, pretty much. Which at that time, before Regieleki, that is very true. Deoxys base form is also going to be an A tier. I just like how it looks. You don't really see this one in competitive as much because these two forms are pretty much going to be the ones you see the most, with defense being probably more used than normal form. But you just don't see it as much. I'm sure it can use pretty much the same thing, but its stats are more balanced, which makes it not as direct into a form that it could possibly go into. So for that, I'm just putting an A tier because I like its design. So this is Fion. Fion is the baby form of Manaphy. I don't really know how you get it. I think it was like some Ranger event or something like that. It was some very specific way how you get Fion. And I don't even think you can get an egg from Manaphy to get Fion. I don't think that's how it works. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. You cannot get an egg. You have to like actually like obtain this Pokemon a certain way. And for that, this Pokemon's a D tier because the stats are also horrible. This Pokemon's like on par with like a first stage Pokemon half the time. Bad Pokemon. I also don't like its design that much. Manaphy really doesn't get a whole lot better here. I'm not even gonna lie. I'd probably stick. I'd have to go in C tier. I think Manaphy at least has the design going for it. Outside of that, it has some very niche. I have used Manaphy in the comp before, and it's kind of cool. I forgot what exactly it does, but it's not really useful. It has a really specific ability. I just forgot what it does, or what it's even called. I just know it's really specific. And it's overall, it's a cool poke. Nah, it's not really that cool. It's just, I like the design. It is what it is. Now, Darkrai is awesome. Darkrai's S tier. Just a very edgy design. Very cool. It's a nightmare Pokemon. You got Bad Dreams on this dude. You got Hypnosis. You can use Hypnosis, which I do a lot, and anything goes. And you just can run over teams sometimes with this dude if you get the right RNG with Substitute and Dark Pulse. It's pretty nasty. Overall, S tier Pokemon, great design. I like him in competitive. Even though he's gimmicky, I don't really care. It's just fun to use. Okay, so we got Shaman, and this is a Sky form. Shaman Sky form looks a lot cooler than Shaman non-Sky form. I think it's like Terrain form or something like that. Shaman Sky form's probably an A tier design-wise. I don't really know what he's used for in competitive. I have no idea. I just like his design. Now, this one's probably B tier. I don't like it as much as Sky form. It's not like bad, though. It's not on the same tier as these, and definitely not Fion. It's about on par with Jirachi. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this one, the normal form has less versatility than the Sky form in competitive. Even though I'm not entirely certain what it does, but I just know that that's pretty much a thing, if I'm not mistaken. Arceus is insane and competitive. Extremely, I like his design. It's basically the god of Pokemon universe. And just, you can do anything you want with this Pokemon competitive-wise. You can be a stall type because they got Water Plate, Dark Plate. You can be a normal type with extreme speed and Sword Dance. Absolutely run over people with Arceus. It is an insanely effective Pokemon. And it's coming back in Gen 9. So I don't know how that's going to... I mean, there is power creep in Pokemon, but this thing has Swords Dance and Extreme Speed still, and that is an insane combo. Yeah, that thing's going to be nasty. I really can't wait to see what people come up with in that game. Next up, we got Victini. Main move, V-Star. It's the Victory Pokemon. It's the first Pokemon entry in Gen 5. It's cool looking. I like how it's Fire Psychic. I don't know. It's not as cool as I feel like these. I might be just more inclined to be like more the edgier Pokemon, except like these two. I just like these two for some reason. Yeah, I'm putting Victini at B. It's not extremely good and competitive, but it can be used. I'll give it that. Now, I don't know what this one's called in comparison to Keldeo normal form. It doesn't look anything different. I'm just going to put both these like in the same tier. Nah, I mean, I really think this one looks lamer than that one for some reason. I just think that the short horn makes more sense. I don't really know what the little tassels are doing on the top of his head. I forgot what this Pokemon represents, but yeah, Keldeo is basically a horse. It's cool-ish. Nah, I can't even do that. I gotta just put it here. I'm not a huge fan of this Pokemon, to be honest. It just kind of exists. I don't really know what it does. Off design-wise, it's just okay. I'll give it an okay pass on that. Nothing too crazy there. Meloetta's alt form is actually fighting type. I think it's alright. I'm not a huge fan of Meloetta's alt form, to be honest. I think Meloetta's normal form is pretty cool looking, though. It's like, it has a lot of song notes and stuff. If you're looking at its hair, it actually has like the notes sometimes. If it has like the right picture. And like on the side of its head, it has like more notes or something along the lines of notes. Overall, it's a pretty cool design for like the music-inspired Pokemon. I think they did a really good job on that. I never use this actually. I kind of want to use Meloetta just to see what it does. But yeah. Ginsect, really cool Pokemon. I think its ability download is pretty neat. It gives you like 1.5 times special attack just off the rip. So yeah, download's cool. It can also change its type if I'm not mistaken. Or it has the plates. I think this Pokemon can change its types. It's not plates. It's along the lines of plates. Because I remember being it might just be a bug steel type. I'm not entirely certain. Don't mark my words that it can change types. But I think I remember it changing types. It's a cool Pokemon though. I think its design is very aggressive because most Pokemon past Gen like 3 don't have much weaponry on it. Or were designed with weaponry in mind. So having like a gun on its back is definitely a unique design going forward. Mega Deontay is pretty neat. I'll probably put it in an A tier. And normal Deontay is probably going to go in B tier. Maybe that. Yeah, Diamond Storm is pretty cool. Really competitive. Magic Bounce is also really nice with Deontay. That's just a normal move you see in anything goes. It's just a Mega Evolve and a basically if you see a Deontay in competitive, you basically just know it's going to be Mega because it has Magic Bounce. Because Magic Bounce is just really good, especially if you predict right. So yeah, that's a very good Pokemon as far as competitive goes most of the time if you can use them right. And it has some pretty nasty moves like stat buffs and stuff like that. I think Diamond Storm is one of them. I forgot the other moves though. Hoopa Unbound is really neat. I like Hoopa Unbound's form, and I also like Hoopa's normal form, but not as much. It has Prankster. So I think this Pokemon's more so the design for me. I just think Unbound Hoopa's awesome looking, and I think normal Hoopa's okay. I don't really know much about his competitive scene. Got Volcanion. Volcanion's okay. I don't think its design is over the top. It's not anything like I'm gonna like chase after. It's kind of just mid in my opinion. You got basically a big circle on a mountain. That's kind of what Volcanion looks like. And this fire water type with I think a steam eruption is pretty cool. And just overall, it's not like a bad Pokemon. I just don't think it's as cool as these. Magearna is up next. Magearna, I've used her quite a bit in Showdown. She's pretty good, but her design is just worse than Deontay's. I think I like the fact they use the gears and stuff like that to make Deontay into like the Pokemon she is, because I don't really know what else they could have done there. Because I don't know the exact inspiration. I just know from what I see, it's just a lot of gears, kind of like mechanical parts. And yeah, she's cool. She's just not as like cool as these. Marshadow, I might be this one an S. Marshadow with Spectral Thief is an absolutely insanely big pressure, especially if you see something that has, you know, when you switch into them and they know that their Marshadow's faster and they have stat buffs on them. Very, very aggressive as far as them wanting, like, making them switch out or keep in, and you just get like free stat buffs out the wazoo, or you just like do a ton of damage with close combat or like sneaks, shadow sneak or something like that. It's a very versatile Pokemon as far as that goes, and I just like its design a lot. Zorua is okay. I think it's not really anything too crazy. Nothing. I'll put it in A tier. I think it's better than most of these, if not all of them. And Zoru has Plasma Fist, which is pretty cool. And it's okay and competitive, I'll give it that. When I play Showdown, I'm not ever like sad when I get Zorua on my team in randoms. Now, Meltan, it kind of suffers from the same thing that Fione does, but I think, I'm going to put it in D tier. This Pokemon appeared first in Pokemon Go, and it was just kind of like a weird event. And no one really knew what was going on with it. Then they told you later that it comes into Melmetal, which is a cool Pokemon that I do like. I just don't really like these like baby forms of like legendaries, because a lot of times they just take a Pokedex slot that I think could be used for something else. At least that's how I would think it works. Not entirely certain. But yeah, Melton's like not that great to me. Melmetal is cool. It has double Iron Bash, which is an absolute monster of a move. It has pretty much a ton of punch moves. Very versatile as far as moves go. Its design is just a bunch of nuts and bolts, which is like, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's what they're going for. I just think that it's kind of just wonky how it's designed. I think its Dynamax form is pretty cool, though, how it becomes like almost like a linky, very lengthy Melmetal, essentially what it is. And yeah, I think it's an okay Pokemon. But yeah, that is my tier list on all of the Pokemon here. And if you like the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, as I'll be making more of these and more Scarlet and Violet content whenever that game comes out, which will be later this week. So yeah, be sure to check me out then. Everyone have a good day. See you next time.